Hey guys, how are you? I'm Rod Keyser, and what I'm going to work on in the shop today is repairing some wobbly chairs. You know, sometimes it's one of the most annoying things if you have a chair and you're sitting on it, and it always wobbles, right? Well, these chairs I just re-glued for a client. They're really, really awesome antique chairs, and we didn't do anything to these chairs other than re-glue them, but I had to completely knock them apart and re-glue them. And every once in a while when you do that, you'll get a chair or two that, isn't quite the same as it was and wobbles a little bit, okay? And this one just has like a little bit of a wobble in it, but, I want to send them back, perfect. So we're going to repair this wobble. Now, if you do a search on this, you'll see a couple different methods that people do, and one of them is to cut the legs that are too long. And I'm like, hell no to that. I've been doing this for 30 years now, right? And all these chairs and the furniture that I work on, they're clients' furniture, right? So, I could just imagine me cutting these chairs a little bit shorter and then delivering them to the client and having them like line them up next to the table and have one be like a little shorter than the others. And they're like, yeah, Rod, what's going on with that? So yeah, no, that won't be happening today. We're not going to be cutting nothing. All right. So I used to repair furniture for stores, like way back in the 90s when I first got into this business. And I would always have to go out to clients' houses and, repair furniture, usually brand new furniture that they had bought from high-end stores. And one of the most redundant common things that I would have to go out was a wobbly chair. So the first thing I would do is check whether it was the chair or check whether it was the floor. And, a lot of times it would actually be the floor. But your chair is still wobbly, regardless of whether it's the floor or, the chair itself. So you still don't want it to wobble. And what I would do is, clearly I'm not going to cut legs in customers' homes, especially when they just spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars, per chair. So, I came up with this method of how to quickly repair it in their house. The first thing is to check the chair. So what I do is you have to set it on a perfectly flat surface, okay? And then if you have a little bit of a wobble, okay? I use marble actually, which you don't need to use marble. If you do have marble in your kitchen, marble is always the best place that you can actually put, it's perfectly flat. Okay, so I have a piece of marble that I have on my workbench, and that's what I use to check chairs. And I have a little bit of a wobble this way. Now, if you aren't using marble and you're using a different surface, then what I suggest is you check it one way and then turn the chair and check it the other way and make sure it wobbles on the same legs. If the wobble now changes to the other two legs, you know that it's your surface, okay? So now here it's now wobbling. These legs right here are wobbling. When I turn it this way, it's the wobble is now right here. It's the same legs. So I know for sure, I know my surface is flat anyways, but I know for sure it's these two legs right here. Or this leg, I should say, right in the front. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and repair this. I'm going to show you this quick method that I use to take care of this. Okay, so we're going to repair this wobbly chair. Now, the first thing that I do when I'm getting ready to fix a wobbly chair is once I determine which leg it is that's wobbling, okay, and the one that I need to repair, I flip it upside down and I mark which leg it is that I want to repair. Now I used a little zip tie here. You can use tape, you can use a rubber band, you can use anything that you want, but I mark that leg, and the reason I do it is because, I might have an ADD moment, or I might just get distracted with, a dog or kids or anything shiny, and then I get myself mixed up because when you flip it upside down, things reverse, and I might, I've already done the wrong leg. So I always mark it, and that way if I get distracted or whatever, I know which leg I'm working on. So when you flip it upside down, you're going to be presented with two things. Either you're going to have little plastic or metal glides on the bottom. Metal ones are on the really old chairs. You're going to have glides on the bottom or you're not. And it's going to be raw wood or you're going to have little glides. You know, when I told you before about what when I used to repair furniture for stores, there would always be glides. So the first thing that I learned how to do when I was faced with that situation is to repair a chair with glides. I'll show you that method first. And I have two different methods I'll show you. But this is the one when you have little glides on the bottom. The first thing that I want to do is I want to remove the one on the leg that I'm going to be working on and that I want to extend. So what I use is a chisel. I use a chisel to put underneath the glide and force the glide up because it has a nail in it that's holding it in place. Now, when you're using a chisel, be very careful not to have your hand anywhere behind the chisel. So if the chisel slides off, you gouge yourself, okay? Chisels can be really dangerous. So keep your hand out of the way, all right? And what I do is you just force it underneath, okay? Sometimes you need a hammer. So I'm gonna try it without a hammer first, and you just kind of push it and force it underneath like this, and then just kind of work it up like that. Then you flip this chisel upside down, and you kind of finish it off, okay? See how easy that worked? Okay, so let me show you this. All right, so here's your glide, all right, and I just used the chisel to remove it. Okay, so what I'm gonna use is I'm going to use a small washer on the glide. Now I use a really tiny one. If you can see that, it's really small, all right, and here's the size of the glide. So then I'm gonna take the washer and put it right on like that. So it's very small. Now you can always use larger washers and you can use 2 or 3 if you need more. I'm going to start just with a little bit because this has just a really slight wobble. Okay, so you just put it right back on there, nail it right back in place. Okay. Check the chair. No more wobble. That's all that I needed for that one. Now, like I said, this had just a slight wobble. So, you know, if I had a little bit more wobble, I would just do 2 washers or a slightly thicker washer. All that you have to do, you can't even see. I mean, I'm sure you can't see it on the camera, but you can't even see the washer. You would never know it was there. So, okay, so that is the first trick that I do. That's how you repair that with a, if you have a glide on it. Now, what do you do if you don't have a glide? So let me show you another method that we do. Okay, so let's do method 2. Now on the next chair, this is actually going to be an extreme example of using this method because we have a lot of wobble in this chair, a lot. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if I would choose this method normally to fix this much wobble, but we're going to try it, okay? So look at all that wobble. That's crazy shit right there. All right, so what we're gonna do is, again, I'm putting a towel down here on my marble because these chairs aren't mine and I don't want to scratch the seats. So I'm just using a towel. Flip this chair upside down, but first, let me mark my leg. All right, marked my leg. Now what I'm going to do is show you this next method. Now these are the same sets of chairs, right? But these have no glides in them and they never did. There's no holes here. So I'm not going to change her chairs because she loves her chairs just the way they are. So I'm not going to be the one to do any changes to them. But other than re-gluing them, which I did a great job on, by the way. I should have did a video on that. All right, so I'm going to use a different method here. And what we're going to do is use a hot glue gun. All right, what you're going to need is a hot glue gun. This is just a cheap sucker from Amazon. Actually, I have a more industrial one here, but I just wanted to show you how you can just use like one that your daughter uses. This is from Amazon. You know, I'll add a link to it because it works great and it was cheap. You know, you'll need glue sticks, okay, for this glue gun. And 1 piece or 2 pieces, depending on how many legs you're doing, of just wax paper, just plain old wax or parchment paper. Okay, so what we're going to do here is take the glue gun, I'll put a fresh stick of glue in there, and we're going to put 2 large dollops on this one and on this one. Okay, so on this chair, since it's so wobbly, I'm going to do the hot glue on 2 legs. All right, so I'm going to put hot glue on this one. Hot glue on this one. Then you want to turn it and put it on the wax paper. Okay, now on the first try, actually it wasn't even near it enough. Okay, and like I said, this is really an extreme example. Usually you just have like a little bit of wobble. I got a crazy wobble on this one. But I'm still gonna try and make this work. We're gonna do, this might actually take a couple times. You know, let the glue harden and then do it again. Okay, I still have a little bit of a wobble, not much. Now I've done this method 2 times so far, and I still have a little wobble. So it's going to take a 3rd shot. See what happens when you do it like this, it squeezes some of the glue out right away. So now when we're all done with this, what we can do is take a little razor blade and trim it so it doesn't look messy, but that's simple enough to do. Oops. All right, so this is my 3rd application of hot glue. All right, so we flip her upside down again, or right side up again, I should say. I'm upside down. Okay, and just set it down. And you want to sort of set it down gently. You don't want to push it down because, you know, you don't want to push it over that side and have all that glue just squeeze out. So, and you just turn it upside down, or turn it right side up. Why do I keep saying turn it upside down? So you turn it right side up and let the glue harden. And after our 3rd application, boom, look at that. No more wobble. Okay, so that's another method. And you know, you might think that the hot glue isn't gonna hold up. It does, it does. Basically, it's kind of like plastic. So what I'm gonna show you here now is, we'll turn this chair back around. Let me put my towel back down here for you. I need an assistant. What do you think? So as you can see, so now we have a plastic glide on here, essentially, okay? Custom made just to this chair. So now what I'm gonna do for my final trick on this chair is we're just gonna take a razor blade and just trim it in a circle here. Okay, we're just gonna trim this with a razor blade so it's the size of the leg. It'll be nice and clean. And there you go, you have another method there of repairing a chair that wobbles. So for the last part of this job right here is one of our 2 legs that we did, and you can see that's nice and hard plastic on there right now. So you know what we'll do now is just take a razor blade and just sort of carefully trim it. And you know, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please, you know, subscribe to our channel. And at the same time, you know, check us out on our website. That's where we have, we actually post more often on our website than we do on YouTube. That is werefinish.net. There are links for that. And, you know, like our video if you can. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and, you know, we really appreciate that. Finish her off here. Just kind of come around the corner, you know, and I can clean this up a little bit more if I want. But basically right there you have, you know, your custom-made chair glide. All right, hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.